everyone, this is Between Nerds, where we are not using bubblegum to capture little boys. My name is Drew Philip Elias. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Aldo Mendez.
Hey nerds, how you doing? And also joining us today,
Special guest,
my special partner, my girlfriend, Vianey Sosa.
Hi nerds!
Baby Mother Supreme, Vianey Sosa is in the house.
Yes, Saeed is taken care of by grandma, so don't worry nerds. He's not downstairs.
We brought Vianey back to discuss Season 2 of Hunter x Hunter. And I think we're really excited, but at the forefront of this episode, we do want to go over some housekeeping notes. Right now, we have 0 entries for our June giveaway. So please use hashtag LGBTnerds to be automatically entered into our June giveaway in an original tweet or Instagram post. And for every like and retweet on said tweet or Instagram post, we will be donating to the Borderland Rainbow Center, which is a safe place in the El Paso area for LGBTI plus individuals. So please help us out, and you can win some free shit.
Yes, and Curbs, your giveaway, it's on the way. So, give us a shout out whenever you receive that. Let us know if you like it. So, we're talking Season 2 of Hunter x Hunter. A very, very problematic and sussy season. It's great. Vianey really likes Hunter x Hunter. I keep teasing her about how the animation finishes. Because obviously it's not...
Well, the manga isn't even finished.
The manga isn't even finished.
But, it's a classic. You know what I mean? If you really want to have a good understanding of, what shonen world building is, it's, One Piece and it's Hunter x Hunter. Because when we were discussing last week for our Mob Psycho 100 episode, world building ends up being one of our favorite parts of, any given anime, right? Mm-hmm. And Hunter x Hunter is all world building all of the time. If anything, it has very little character development, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? It has some, but the core plot line is, this original world driving the story forward.
Correct. Yeah, and we talked about Season 1 last time, and that was our 10th episode, I think, 11th episode.
Yeah, but it's still one of our most popular episodes. I think it's maybe in our top 5 most downloaded ever.
It sounds like we recorded on a potato, bro.
Yeah. We were recording on we were recording on a potato in a microwave.
Yeah, with a toaster inside. But so we finished on Season 1 last time with our heroes, our crew, kind of splitting up. They did their own thing. Kurapika went to go train in a forest. Leorio went to go get his medical license.
Right.
And we have now our sussy couple.
They're not sussy. They're progressive, but they are a couple. Yeah. So setting up the beginning of Season 2, Gon and Killua are just living life, and Vianey. Mm-hmm. Can you please, in simplified terms, please describe to me as a whole Season 2 of Hunter x Hunter?
I knew this was coming. I literally wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. So basically, it's just giving a short explanation on what the power system is. And I think that's all of Season 2, really.
Right. It reminds me a lot of JoJo's like that, because in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, going from speaking in manga publications, between parts 2 and 3, the power system changes. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what it seems like happens to Togashi halfway through, because he made his world, he has his character models down, he likes the monsters, the hunter licensing aspect to it, but then 50-something chapters in, he's like, I had a bright-ass fucking idea on how to blow everybody's mind with this original power system. Mm-hmm.
And it's really... Honestly, as the more I watch it, and this second time that I watched the Season 2 of Hunter x Hunter, which is Haven's Arena, it's he's breaking down pretty much every single anime's power system to the T.
And that's probably my favorite part about Hunter x Hunter, because literally Nen, which is the power system, is the best written power system in any shonen manga or anime, I think.
There's literally other shows that I'll be watching with Aldo, and then out of nowhere I'm like, wait, are they using Nen? And then he's like, no, babe, that's not here.
Everything's kind of a ripoff of Nen now.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. It seems like he was writing it in a way that he was trying to describe, like the main power system of a lot of animes. Like we have the Haikyuu from One Piece, which it's almost like the intent in Nen, or like the Ten, or Setsu, whichever it is.
Right.
And then we have like your willpower. We have your determination to do it, and it just pretty much breaks down every single power system in most anime.
No, I agree. And so comparing it to other shonens, when we watched Fire Force, I remember bitching to Jacob that the thing about the fire powers in Fire Force is that the fire just does anything they want it to do. You know what I mean? Half the time it doesn't even behave like fire. Nen logics it in such a way that like it can be anything. Like within the confines and the description that's given, it can literally be anything, which is like excellent.
Yeah.
So we find our sussy couple, out of scratch, and they need some money.
Yeah. So they roll into town after the hunter licensing exam. Gon's now a certified hunter. Killua failed because he killed somebody.
Correct. So he doesn't have a license at all.
He doesn't have a license at all. But because the latter half of season 1 was about Killua and his family and how they're like trained assassins and all that stuff, Killua knows how to like get a bunch of money really quickly.
Correct. But he doesn't.
He doesn't, because it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna go to this Heaven's Arena, which is like this the third tallest building in the world, which is just battle arenas from bottom to top, and we're just gonna hustle our way to the 200th floor, and that's how we're gonna get 1,000,000 zeni or whatever the fuck it was.
251 floors in total, because I believe on the last one you fight like the tower leaders, which we never get to see.
I think it is in the manga, because like if I remember correctly. I haven't read it. I'm just talking off like hearsay off of like YouTube and Twitter, I guess. I think Hisoka actually does go back and has to kill one of the floor leaders for a job.
Oh, okay.
So like Hisoka does it all over again just to murder somebody.
Oh, okay. And then even we know that Killua has gone through this, and that's how he got the idea. That's how he got the idea of just getting some quick money. And that was by defeating the first 100 levels or the first 200 levels.
He got to the 200th floor.
Yeah, but when you get to the 200th floor, you only fight for honor.
Yeah.
And you don't get any scratch anymore.
And now people can use weapons, so like there's a high chance that you can actually die this time.
Correct. So we see Gon and Killua just like murking fools left and right in the first like 200 floors.
Right. Which is funny because like Gon's like nervous when they're on floor 1, which are like nobodies. Like literally, no, you could be fighting a fucking pug for all we know.
Baby Satan.
Yeah, or a child. And but what Killua gives to Gon as advice is just like just push yourself or push them. The language used is literally just
so I know that he just literally brought up like just push, and the way Gon took it was
literally.
Season 1 they practiced trying to open like that big door to get to Killua's mansion, whatever it is.
Correct.
So that's literally all it took, just pushing anyone with all the strength that he gained. You're
right, because we saw the last training montage that we see was the training montage at the security post for Killua's mansion thing.
Yeah.
And they were training with heavy equipment and shit, so they were able to push the doors. So that's pretty much what Gon does all the time. He's just pushing a door open.
He's just like sumo pushing people.
Exactly.
But like he's so fucking strong now that he's just like knocking people through walls and shit. Like
So anyways, they run through like 100 floors, and we meet our Krillin character, who is Sushi. That
is what I like about Hunter x Hunter, especially how the anime is portrayed. I don't know if the manga was like this, but in the anime, they're down to skip like filler or just random fights that don't even matter.
I love it.
Yeah, because like the pacing of especially season 2 of Hunter x Hunter, like I watched this 5 days ago already. We were recording on Saturday the 12th of June. I watched it. I watched all of season 2 in one sitting the Sunday after me and Alder recorded the last episode.
Yeah, and we just finished it this morning.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just such a breeze. Like it's such like a good story that like you don't even realize like how far you're in, how quickly. And it does, and it helps that there's only like 15 minutes of actual content in each episode.
Yeah.
So we get to a point that Killua, it's up against Sushi. And Killua, we know he's a murderous fucking freak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He can easily ace anybody. 86 anybody.
But what we didn't talk about was if Gon's like sumo pushing everybody through walls, Killua's just like karate chopping people's fucking necks and just making them pass out.
Yeah. And he's doing it with no
I mean, he was there when, I think he said, like, he was 6 when they put him in there.
Yeah, that's right. When they put him in there. And his dad put him in there when he was 6.
What an asshole. Yeah. Put a literal 6-year-old and he's like, okay, fight your way to the top.
Great parenting. If I'm a fraction better than any parent in anime, I'm okay with it.
And what we do end up seeing is there's some fucking creeps like in the Heaven's Arena. Like, why the fuck would you leave a whole ass 6-year-old there?
Yeah, and why would you accept a 6-year-old into the arena?
That's it.
I don't know. The ethics in this world are very suspect.
Yes. But yes, so we get to the fight with Sushi and Killua doing his thing, karate chopping necks left and right. He chops him up, but he gets back up.
Yeah, and speaking on Zushi's like character design, he looks like a fucking nerd. Like, he's got like brown hair, a little bowl cut, but he's wearing like gi, and like little white gi. But isn't it like
Snickers?
What color is his belt? Isn't it a white belt? He's not a black belt or anything.
He's a red belt, I think.
Something like that, right? Like, he's not very high up, and he's always like speaking in like hosh and like doing like the hosh, the weird like karate like breathing techniques and shit. So he seems like a fucking dork, but
he's cool.
He's cool because he's honest. You know what I mean? Because he does end up coming back in like one of the non-canon movies, and he's an important part of it. And there's like some character development on his part there, but he's mainly like the audience's introduction to Nen.
Correct.
Which is his power system.
Correct. And we see that once he keeps getting up and keeps getting up and keeps getting up with the fight with Killua.
Right.
And then we have this little scene where he uses his rand stand. And
well, he kind of gets like fed up where he's like, like, why can't I like even touch Killua like at this point? So that's when he starts getting a little like upset, I guess, where he uses it.
Yeah, and we see in a lot of animes we see purple. Sometimes he's like fear, but most of the times it's like murderous intent.
Yeah,
like a purple background, purple glow, purple aura is just murderous intent, and
which is what Sushi
was getting with his fight with Killua. And then from the stands we see Master Wing yell, "Yo, Sushi, chill the fuck out."
But then also, like, you see Killua, like, back up, and he, like, a quick flashback of his brother from season 1, where he's like, oh, dang, like, I'm about to be killed.
Yeah, I feel that same, like, the malice, JoJo's fucking, coming from Zushi that I feel from my brother. And speaking real quick, I don't know why I'm focusing on character designs, because it's fucking Hunter x Hunter. I hate all the character designs. But Master Wing does not look like he'd be apprenticing over somebody like Zushi, because Zushi's this fucking dork and gi and shit, and Master Wing is this nerd with glasses, his shirt's all untucked.
He's supposed to be a slacker, yeah.
He looks like he works in an office or something, not like he's teaching kung fu to a child.
Correct. And then after that fight, which they completely skip out of the ending of the fight for a little bit.
Yeah, they don't want us to know yet.
Yeah, Killua is telling Gon, is like, yo, it's like, this kid, he's the real deal. It's like, he's using something that we've seen before, you know? And just nonchalant, they just go up to Master Wing. It's like, yo, teach us this shit. And he's like, no, I'm not going to teach you this shit. And they're like, please teach us this shit. And then he's like, all right, I'll teach you this shit.
Not yet, because like we do get like some like inner monologue from Wing that's like, or he says out loud that I can't teach you this because if you hurt somebody with my teachings, then I'm responsible.
Correct. And then he kind of fakes him out. He gives him like a lie, but it's not a lie because he explains them what the four main techniques of Nen are, which is
the major principles.
Which is Ten, Setsu, Ren, and Hatsu. 10 being your focus of your mind, Setsu being your mouth chakra, pretty much, like putting it into words. Then you have your Ren, which is strengthens your will.
But that's the real explanation, because you're right. He does fake them out. He gives them like some bullshit,
like a vague explanation, because it's still true.
It's like a. Like, what is it? Like old like Chinese proverbs or some shit where like they're speaking knowledge on something, but it's up for you to figure it out. And
well, I don't think Master Wing really goes into detail yet until
they get to the 200
until later. Yeah.
Right. So I guess I'll go from there. Like Gon and Killua try getting to this second floor, to the 200th floor, but then they meet up with Hisoka. That's his name, right?
Hisoka, the sussy clown from season 1.
The pervy clown.
The pervy clown.
Where, like, his aura isn't even letting them pass to even register.
Because they feel it.
Like, what? Yeah.
They feel it from, like, the clerk of, like, the 200th floor. Because she's like, okay, you have till midnight to check in or you're going to reset all over again and you have to go start.
Yeah, I think it's coming from her first.
Well, it was coming from her.
Oh, it was?
Because the thing about the 200th floor is even, like, the workers need to have a use of Nen, because from the 200th floor onwards, it's all Nen users. So if you can't see or have a real understanding of Nen, then you can't even, like, be there, which is why, like, she was trying to scare them, but she was still going to let them check in. But you're right. It was up to Hisoka walking into frame and sitting at the end of the hall and using like his aura pressure to kind of like scare them away, being like, hey, you're totally not ready for this yet.
And because he knew that they didn't know Nen.
Right.
And we talked about this in season 1. You were telling me, it's like, oh, look, in this moment where Gon is hiding in the forest from Hisoka, we know that he's using Setsu.
Right.
And that's the... No, I mean, not Setsu. He's using Ten, I believe, which hides his aura.
Right.
You know?
He was using Nen without even knowing what he was doing.
Correct. And so when we're up there, Killua and Gon are trying to push through the malice of Hisoka to get through the registry. It's 10 p.m. They have 2 hours to register,
right,
or now they're disqualified. But Mr. Master Wayne comes in the frame and he's like, yo, stop it. You might kill yourselves if you try to walk. That's when we have the dialogue piece from Hisoka that, oh, you boys aren't ready yet. And yeah, he goes back to the room and pretty much explains what Nen is all about.
Yeah, and again, that's what's cool about Hunter x Hunter, because like it's not going to over-explain or drag anything out, because it wants you to know straight up that these boys are prodigies. Like, these guys are geniuses. Like, it shows on the clock. It's like 9 o'clock. It's like 2100 hours. Or no.
20.
Yeah, it's like 2000 hours. So it's like 8 o'clock or something.
Yeah, you're right.
And they have until midnight, 2400, to like check in, or they're going to reset to the first floor. So they just run over to Wing's place. He teaches them this super vague explanation on what Nen is. And they're able to run back and use their aura pressure right away to like show Hisoka that they know what Nen is now. And he like lets them check into the 200th floor.
And then we have a very cool piece of dialogue. Well, if you know and you finish Hunter x Hunter, he says, have I created a monster? Speaking.
Wing says that.
Yeah, Wing says that about Gon.
Right.
You know? And I just thought it was pretty badass to get to see these little moments within just first season, second season, and third season about what Gon's character.
Because Gon is a fucking monster. Like, Gon's like the man. Like, he's a prodigy. Like...
And then you even see Zushi, like, being like, wait, what? They just got in, like, in an hour, and it took me, like, forever to even just understand the concept.
No, exactly. And I think that's why, that's what makes Zushi such, like, a good, like, character like for the audience to grab up.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, a regular guy, but he's trying his best, you know what I mean? Like, he's working his ass off. He's working on his Nen and his Ren trading every fucking day.
Right.
But he's just never gonna be on Killua and Gon's level. Like, he just can't.
And Gon, his motivation at this point is to give back Hisoka's number tag from the exam back to Hisoka, because Hisoka takes his and punches in the face, is like, you can't give me back my tag until you're able to punch me in the face like I did.
Right.
So that's his motivation. Like, Gon just wants to punch Hisoka in the face.
But, like, before we move on, there's this one part where the clerk starts explaining, like, oh, once you get to this level, you'll get this much money, and, like, you'll get, like, the stay, like, the room, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, they're like, oh, that's it? And she's like, what do you mean that's it? And then she's like, it's, like, on the highest floor, and, like, I don't know, she starts going on and on.
You can live
and then,
here for free if you're, like,
yeah. And then Gon is like, Killua, isn't that, like... nothing compared to, like, your place.
to your state.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, it's whatever. And you just see her, like,
faint,
what?
pass out,
She's like, oh my god, I just thought it was kind of
No, you're right, because to your point, they're just fighting for brownie points, for fame, like, for standings at this point. Because they've already accomplished Killua's original goal, which was just to make some money. Mm-hmm. Like, they just breezing through these 200 floors, they've already made like 1 million Jenny or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, they didn't know Hisoka was gonna even be there.
Yeah, but now they have to stay because now Gon's like, oh, I gotta punch this weird ass fucking clown in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think he was expecting to see him in York New, right?
Mm-hmm. So Master Wing teaches them how to control their aura and having, like, almost a protective shield to what the malintent of Hisoka was on that hallway. So they get past, they register, and then we see, like, this trouble of, like, crippled kids that were crippled as part of a initiation to the 200th floor. Yeah. And we know that, like, one of them's missing his arm, the other dude is on a wheelchair, and then the other dude is missing both of his legs, and he's, like, on a fucking peg or something.
Oh, you know? He's pegging himself.
Yeah. and we see the first fights of...
Because even Master Wing says, like, even though you know, like, the basics of Nen, like, you're still not ready to fight like an actual Nen user. Yeah. But Gon's dumbass is like, I need to win 3 fights so that I can... Oh, because that was Hisoka's ultimatum, was that if you win 1 fight, then I'll let you, like, challenge me to an actual battle. Right.
But then Gon ends up going to battle with that one guy in the
red hood. Mm-hmm. Pegging himself.
Because, like, he's on a pogo stick. Like, describing to the audience, like, he's on a pogo stick.
Yeah.
And he's just jumping up and down. And so...
he's like a living Beyblade at this point.
He's a literal living Beyblade, and he fights with Beyblades. Like, his whole power is he uses Nen to control these little fucking battle tops.
Spinning tops, yeah.
And
that's how he fucks up Gon.
Yeah, while pegging himself, he just shoots out all these tops. I'm sorry, you were getting explained it. I cut you off. I got excited. Go ahead. And so Gon, only knowing, like, the basics, he uses Ten to, like, focus in his aura and, like, try to, like, sense where, like, the tops are coming from, because it's clear that they're fighting with some kind of pattern. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Gon is because he has 0 experience with Nen, he can't multitask his Nen and, like, actually fight and using it outwards and, like, spiritual pressure and increasing his own, like, battle powers.
Correct. So it's like all defense mode right here in this fight.
Yeah. Like, oh, he statted all the way in defense, and now his attack's, like, 0.
Correct. And he's not using his fishing rod at this point because that dumbass forgot it.
Which, like, I hate that, like, it's part of his main character design, but he uses it, like, twice in the entirety of the anime.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, I forgot about it until they introduced it again. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
He did have a fishing rod. Yeah. I don't even remember what he used it for in the Hunter exam, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so,
it was...
I think, like, captured somebody's tag off of it.
Yeah, that's how he got the tags from the exam.
Right?
Most of the times. But what I was going to say, after that fight... Master Wing gets upset at him.
Well, Gon loses.
Yeah, Gon loses.
Gon loses.
And gets really hurt.
Like, really hurt. Like, I don't know why Alder's explaining it. Like, just skipping that out. Gon gets, like, an arm shattered. Like, he has a massive concussion because he gets hit in the fucking head. Like, Gon is fucked up.
Okay, yeah, he does get mad at him for being stupid and not being careful with the other Nen user.
He's like, listen, Sussy Baka.
Yeah. So he's like, you're not allowed to train. If you train any kind of Nen, is like, I'm not going to train you anymore, blah, blah.
He puts a promise ring on.
Pretty much.
He puts a promise thread on him. Which if you continue watching to the next arc, it's pretty much the same action that Kurapika put in her heart.
Him. Kurapika's a man boy.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. It's just the voice actor.
I know. I always.
That's why I think Kurapika's voice is probably the one that's way better in the sub, because it's actually a dude's voice.
Correct. Yeah. And but yeah, he puts a promise thread on it that we later find out that is powered by Nen.
He can't use Nen for 60 days.
Correct.
Or like what you're talking about, because it's like a special Nen thread. If like it's exposed to Nen, then it's gonna break.
Correct. Because it has the intent of keeping a promise or some shit like that.
And that's how Wing would know that Gon used Nen, because it's like, if you used any Nen, then your thread would break.
Correct. And this is where we get like some sussiness from Killua, because Wing is trying to train Killua, but Killua's like, no, I'm not gonna train because I don't want my boyfriend to be left behind. You know?
That happens even earlier than that, because like after their first couple of wins on the first floor, they're going through their records and they're looking at Killua and it's like, oh, you've already been on the 200th floor, you can go straight to floor 180. And Killua's like, nah, I just want to hang out with Gon. Yeah, I'll go to floor 50 with Gon. It's all right.
Yeah, and
then we're introduced with Castro.
Castro, yes, Castro.
Which one's Castro?
Castro is the replicating guy.
Oh, yeah.
That fights Hisoka. Which at first, I don't know, I was like, okay, like, I could probably bet on him. He could probably beat him, you know, and I'm disappointed at the end.
Well, it was just like an exposition of what the fucking stinky gum thing of Hisoka worked.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's like an introduction to like, not only the 10 Zetsu, Ren, and Hatsu, but like how there's an actual like wheel of powers on Nen, and that you can, and that's why I'm explaining like Nen
can do anything with
it. And that's what's cool about it, because this is where you're seeing it, because you're going from like use big spiritual pressure to punch hard to be such a good like specialist that you can create a whole ass clone of yourself. Compared to, which is like awesome that like when we do get the explanation of Hisoka's powers, it's so stupid. Like his power is so dumb, but like when you think about it, like it has so many applications. That's what makes it cool. It's like fucking a rubber boy kind of shit, you know? Because it's like, okay,
and it makes sense of him too, because he's pretty creepy, like, already.
And like, and like you said in the intro of this episode, it's like he's literally using gum to fucking get Gon closer to him.
Right. So yeah, explain it. I think he's a transmutation or either a conjuration.
No, he's a transmutator. Yeah.
A transmutation specialist.
Yeah.
So right. So he's transmuting his Nen in a way that it's sticky, like literal bubble gum.
Yeah.
And he's using that with like a really refined level of like Hatsu that lets him like hide his aura.
Correct.
So that he can like he's sticking severed limbs back to himself. There's certain parts in the manga where he's restarting his heart based off this fucking bubble gum. He's like in the fight that's happening with this clone guy, everyone thinks it's magic. Like he's an actual magician, like an actual clown doing tricks, because he's able to like make objects fly and stuff, because nobody can see his Nen and his aura and his bubblegum like actually just like manipulating everything around him.
Correct. And it's almost like a trickery way of how he uses it, you know? Like most of the time is him like, look at this hand while I do something else with this other hand. Yeah. You know? And it makes sense, because when we have the fight with Castro was denied his last fight with Hisoka because Hisoka just left.
Right.
So now they're just going at it, and we are meant to believe that the Castro is really powerful, because Killua, it's at some point he's like stalking him, and he goes into his room, and then he pulls out fast one on Killua, and we know that Killua is really fast. We know that he's really good at what he does, being an assassin and all, and he snuck up on Killua. Yeah. Killua's like, yo, what the fuck? It's like, I'm not gonna let you know how I use my shit. Anyways, during the fight, we know that Castro is I think an enhancer?
No.
Yeah, I think he was an enhancer that tried to use manipulation and conjure.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and as we get explained by Master Wing, like I said, Nen is the most like solid power system, especially how they explained it.
Best power system.
Because they explained it as a hexagon.
Right.
A hexagon, and the 3 top points, we have enhancement, emitters, transmutation, and the bottom 3 points.
We'll go at it like a clock. Like, go at it clockwise.
Okay, clockwise. Yeah, clockwise we'll go. So we have at the top, at the 12 o'clock position, we have enhancer, and then we continue to transmuter, then we continue to conjurer, then we continue to a specialist, we continue to a manipulator, and then an emitter.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the position on the hexagon matters a lot. Because, like, if you are a really good Nen user, you can use any of these. All 6 of them are available to you. Mm-hmm. But if you're Aldo and you have an affinity towards transmutation, changing the quality of your aura to match something else, it's going to be hard for you to use the Nen type directly opposite on the wheel. It's like a fucking color wheel almost.
Correct. Uh-huh.
So like it'd be hard for you to use manipulation at that same time.
And if I am able to use it, it will deter my already special ability.
Right.
You know, like it will weaken your. It's like spreading points in your Pokemon.
Yeah,
like spreading power points in your abilities.
No, exactly. So, like in Pokemon, the difference between like physical attacks and like long range, like emitting attacks is on stats is called attack and special attack, right? Mm-hmm. If I have a Pikachu that specializes in fucking special attack, I'm not gonna put all its fucking points in attack because that's stupid.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And so it's really smart how they use it. So with the fight with Crystal, Mr. Wing videotaped it, or I guess they have tapes available of each fight, and they're trying to teach
because they're treating it like high class fucking MMA fighting.
Yeah, and now we get like super intricate, and I think this is what this episode is going to be about, just trying to describe what Nen is, and we see Master Wing trying to explain them a sub technique from Ren, which is Gyo.
Right.
Which allows you to use your eyesight to see Nen when they're trying to hide it, like Hisoka is doing.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if Ren is described as temper or intensifying your will, it's the same technique that what's his name, the kid with the gi on. Zushi. So when Killua got afraid of Zushi because of the malice and the like killing aura about him, it's because Zushi was using Ren to just like intensify his aura outwards. Mm-hmm. The idea behind Gyo is that like you're intensifying your will, but only in your fucking eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. And we see a glimpse of Gyo in the butler scene when they're trying to follow the coin. Mm-hmm. Because Gon does the whole Rocky Balboa, like cut my eye out so I can see better.
That's true. I forgot about that scene.
And he fucking does the thing, and he uses that without knowing. And Master Wing explains that because of Gon's nature of just being a nature boy, or being raised in like just an island,
right? Like
Goku or something.
He's fucking Tarzan, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's Tarzan, yeah. So he's able to kind of like find. Like, just barely use those techniques.
And again, like what you're talking about, if this whole episode is just going to be us describing how great Nen is, you're able to retcon the entire season 1 based off what we're learning right now. Because it's even like, we were describing how he was using his fishing rod to capture the tags from the hunter exam. That can be seen as an example of Gyo right there. Like that, like even in those scenes in season 1, Gon was like focusing his will inwards, and he was using his senses, or like his ability to sense auras, and that's how he was capturing like people's tags. And and like what you were talking about, he was hiding his own aura, and it's
like, what would you consider, or what was Gon using when he was trying to follow Hisoka? That one time, we're like trying to get his number, and like Hisoka didn't even acknowledge that he was around him. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, he's using. I can't believe. I don't know if it's 10.
I think it's 10. I was gonna say 10.
Yeah, 10. When you hide your aura, like a hunter or like a wildebeest would hide his presence,
because it's focusing the mind and reflecting on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And it's just great how they do this. So now Master Wing is trying to teach him Gyo.
Right.
And they're like, he shows them the video.
Right. So it's after the 60 days, because Wing didn't want Gon like re-breaking his fucking arms because the doctor said like it would take 2 months, like the whole 60 days to heal himself.
Wait, hold on. So before we get to that point, I just want to point out like the fact that Hisoka, like, he literally didn't have 2 arms during that battle with Castro.
Yeah.
And so, sorry, I know I'm backing it up a little bit. No. But to me, it was just, like, very shocking when I first watched it, just because I was like, wait, how's he doing this? And then so I kind of felt like that one scene where, I don't know if she was like a nurse or something that went to kind of go reconnect his arms. Like the fact that she was able to basically re-explain everything again, just different words.
So they
was needed in that scene.
They re-explained the same fight twice, right?
Yeah.
So we get it not only through her, who's like a Nen user that uses
Nen stitches
to heal any wound, but we also get it later from Wing. But you're right. I'm glad you brought her up right here. I can't even remember her name, but she's explaining to the audience kind of while speaking to Hisoka, being like, I saw what you did. Mm-hmm. I saw it. Like my Gyo is strong enough that I could see that you were manipulating your own arm and that you used the bungee gun to stick your second severed arm onto the ceiling, and that you, like, all the cards he was throwing up it was just a misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's either a Phantom Troop member or a member of the Phantom Troop.
I think so, because I remember at the end of the episode, she's like, "Oh, the orders have been changed. Like, you need to go to
York New City."
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Because the Phantom Troop, we were originally introduced to a fake Phantom Troop person in season 1 when they were fighting guys on like the Endless Pit or whatever. When Killua ripped somebody's fucking heart out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So. She's telling Hisoka, like, hey, the boss said to meet in York New City. The boss might even show up one time. And you see, like, that smirk from Hisoka where, like, you're already suspected that, like... Because Hisoka's only goal in life is just to fight stronger people. He's, like, fucking Vegeta or some shit.
Turned on by it, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's turned on by Gon.
Well, not only that, but just in general, like, with anyone he that is powerful enough to fight him, he's like, yes, like, he gets excited.
That's why he didn't want to fight this guy either, because they say in Heaven's Arena that, like, every match that Hisoka's actually shown up for, he hasn't lost, and it's because he's like a fucking... He's like manipulating like little boys almost. Like he's trying to like harbor them and like grow them in a certain way until they're like ripe and mature that he can pluck them off.
Yeah.
Correct.
And which is exactly what happened here, because he didn't want to kill this dude yet, because he's like, no, like I want you to be an actual good fight. Mm-hmm. But in the end of the episode you're talking about, so she's like, okay, I use my Nen stitches, you're okay, meet in York New City. Hiso gets out of the shower, and we see this giant, like, spider tattoo on his back with, like, a 4?
That we've seen before.
Yeah, with 4.
Yeah, with a giant 4 on his back, which we saw to be the marking of the Phantom Troop or whatever, because they all have numbered spider tattoos on them.
Which we know it's Kurapika's
mortal
intention.
enemies.
Yeah.
But then, like, you see him pretty much get that part of his skin off, like
yeah, because we saw that part of the bungee gun power is that he can make like a false skin.
Yeah.
So Hisoka's just like, oh, I forgot this was here, and just takes off like the bubblegum fake skin off his back. So it wasn't a real tattoo.
Yeah, so he's a fake Phantom Troop member. And anyways, yeah, we have a second explanation with the Hisoka stitching stuff, because they're going over again and again. By the time we get to the video part and they try
again
to explain it again, but now it's not to the audience. Now it's for Gon and Killua to learn Gyo and see what they need to do. But it's a crazy, intricate description or definition of how they have to use their powers, because it's like you can use Gyo, but you cannot deter your Nen aura, your Nen protection, so you have to be quick about this. Like, if you want to look and see where what Gyo wants to show you, you have to be very fast and get back into your Nen ability, into your Ren ability.
Right.
Because then it'll fuck you up.
Right. That's right. Because, like, if you're going to use if normally you're using Ren as like a superficial like barrier, like Mob Psycho 100 fucking force field around you, but if you're diverting that same Ren and that same spiritual pressure to your eyeballs, then you're leaving yourself vulnerable. Which like, even by the next season, doesn't even matter, because every Nen fighter at a certain point has like passive Gyo.
Yeah.
So like you're not even like a semi-proficient Nen user unless you just have Gyo just running all the time.
Yeah, which
this is only an issue like right
now.
here.
Yeah. And obviously our Prodigy kids, they're able to use it, and Sushi's like, holy shit.
Yeah, poor Zushi, because
he starts getting super petty, and I'm like, I would be petty too.
No, because he's dedicating his whole life to trying to master Nen, and when the Gyos first introduced, Killua tries using it because Gon still can't use Nen because he's still within the 60 days. And
no, I think
he's already
this
out.
point...
Is he out?
Yeah, at this point,
because
so
it took him. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just so that he can actually see the threads that Hisoka was using,
because
Master Wing basically broke it off.
Oh, okay. Because Zushi could use it first, right? Zushi like was the first example, and he's like, I only see 4 threads, Master.
But like, he's like,
he's like, you're fucking shit himself like about it.
Yeah,
like, almost having a stroke trying to see just 4 strands when we originally know that there were
credit. It was 13.
He was trying his best. Yeah, because it takes.
There was actually 14.
Yeah, because Killua saw 13, and then Gon, when he did it, he was like, oh, but there's 14 because there's one thread going to the ceiling, and that's where like
the other arm
Hisoka was sticking his other arm.
I'm almost positive he had seen 13, but it's okay, it's irrelevant.
It doesn't matter.
Just more of
the only point was that like Killua saw almost all of them, but it took Gon, the prodigy of the prodigies,
to be like, no, I'm right.
There's actually the secret 14 thread on the ceiling.
Mansplaining himself.
Yeah. And Zushi just in the back like stupid fucking Gon.
But then on this episode, they introduced that Nen has different forms too.
Right.
So they use like that glass of water to kind of determine what type they have.
Right. This is where we get the real explanation of Nen types, because like what we've seen from the stupid top guy or the guy that made clones of himself is that Nen can do everything, but we're not entirely sure why. Which like I love how this glass works in the anime, because it's like it's a glass of water with a leaf in it, and it's just like, okay, just exert your Nen on it, and whatever happens to the leaf or the glass of water will know like what type of Nen you have. So Zushi uses it, and like the leaf turns, it just starts spinning.
It just like
wiggles.
Yeah, it lightly wiggles, and they're like, "Oh, you're an emission type or something."
Yeah.
Correct.
But then we see Master Wing do it, and the water starts overflowing. It's like, "Oh, you're an enhancement type. That's so dope." And it's funny because like Killua is such an experienced fighter. When he does it, nothing happens. He's just like, what the fuck? But then he turns it into like sugar water.
Sweet water, yeah. And then this is the first time we see the glass, because we have another training montage of our 3 kids just going at it with this glass of water and the leaf. Going at it.
Just practicing, trying to get stronger.
And at the end of that little training montage, we go back to the room with Master Nen. It's like, all right, let's see what
Master
you guys...
Nen?
I mean, Master
He's
Nen.
the master of Nen. Yeah. But what we've seen before you go on to the second explanation, what we did see in that 60 days that Gon wasn't allowed to use Nen was that he was still using like a bunch of 10 to basically like meditate in on himself.
That's right.
And that's how Gon was able to like heal himself in 30 days, because he was focusing his aura and focusing his Nen in such a way, like he wasn't admitting it, so it didn't break the promise ring. But like now Gon has like this intense like focus of the mind and focusing of his Nen that that's what makes it so much easier for him to like be able to use Nen from here on outward, because you're right, they use the second glass and then what happens?
Yeah, with the second glass we see another exposition with Sushi. Sushi is able to move the leaf a little bit slighter more.
It's like almost doing a 360, but not quite.
But again, he's almost having like a stroke trying to do this. And then we see Killua. Killua jumps in and he's like, does this thing, nothing happens. But they taste the water, and now it's sweet like honey. Not
it's straight like super super sweet like honey. Like it's not even sort of like, oh, it tastes like you dissolve some sugar in here. Like it's like, holy fuck, like you could.
Yeah,
I don't know,
like
put
their
this shit in my
reactions are. Yeah, their reactions are like, "Whoa!" And then Gon does it, and like the glass breaks.
The glass breaks because of how much overflowing water is coming out.
Yeah,
of the
he expands like the pressure and like the volume of water in the glass so quickly that it just pops the glass. Yeah. And Gon is such an idiot. He's so strong. He's just focusing his Nen, and we just like stop, Gon. Like you're gonna flood the apartment. Stop it.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, oops."
So now we know that Gon is an enhancer,
right?
Very, very capable enhancer, and Killua is a transmitter,
right?
Transmutator. I'm sorry. Yeah, transmutator.
Right. So enhancer is like the most basic form of like Nen or key manipulation. It's like
the most common, I guess.
Yeah, it's like what you would expect from like a key power. It's just like if I do bigger key, I punch harder, right? That's enhancement. But then emitters are like emitter, right? You said emitter?
No, transmuter.
Transmuter. It's the same as Hisoka, where you're changing the quality of your Nen.
Correct.
And I can't remember if it's happening at the same time, before or after, but there's like a subplot where one of those 3 douches that were on the 200th floor that like pick off newbies to the floor, they try capturing like Zushi.
Well, they did capture. Well,
when did that happen in the plot?
It was in that same episode.
Like right after.
Oh, right after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like they end up trying to, I don't know what their intentions were really, but they end up getting Zushi. But then Killua pops up. He's like, what are you doing there?
Their plan was to get them to sign up for a fight, and then they were going to beat them at a fight because they knew that they hadn't fully grasped Nen yet. So they were going to like pick them off and move up on the floor. I just
didn't really get the intention of like why they were trying to get Zushi. Like, was it just to basically threaten them, as in like...
It was just to threaten them, be like, you have to sign up for this day. You have to sign up for a fight on this day, and you have to fight.
They're trying to get, like, easy wins. Right? So, and like I said, like, it's...
The newbie hunters.
Yeah, the newbie hunters. And you can see that these kids are crippled. Like I said, one of them's on a wheelchair, one of them's missing an arm, the other dude is pegging himself. But, yeah, so Killua walks into the alley that fucking Sushi went into, because I don't know why, because, you know, bad things happen in alleys. Right. And he's like, yo, what the hell are you doing? It's like, I'm tired of your shit. It's like, you want to fight? I'm going to sign up. You don't touch this fool ever again.
Well, it's not even like that, because the guy with the mask on that's missing an arm, Killua, like, breaks into his hotel room in the back. Oh, it's later?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
because they steal his shoe.
Okay.
They steal Sushi's shoe. That sounds cool. Sushi's shoe. Yeah, but Killua tells them, is like, okay, you want to sign up? I'll sign up. But then they use that shoe to threaten Gon and be like, yo, if you don't sign up, I'm gonna hurt your boy, which they don't have him anymore because Killua already retrieved him.
So they go behind Killua's back, basically. But then Killua finds out that he registered. He's like, what? And so I think that's when he shows up in their room, as they were already talking about like another plan to like a cheating way of beating them.
And that's where we get back to murderous fucking Killua. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and he has.
Which I thought was badass. I love him. Like, he's like my favorite.
No, it's because like he's the most like diehard Gon supporter. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, you're fucking with my boy. Now I have to murder you. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, you ruined Gon's day. I have to murder you. I'm sorry. Much. It's not me. It's not me. It's you.
And he sneaks into his room, puts a knife to his fucking jugular, and he tells him, "I don't want to see you here ever again," and kind of forces him out of the competition, because the fights that they had scheduled, they won him by default.
Right.
Because he never showed up.
Right.
Yeah. And then we go back to Master Wing's room, where Killua knows something is up with Gon, because Gon also scheduled some fights the day before the deadline of the other crew.
So he knows he's being threatened.
Correct.
Okay.
And then after that, we see that Gon is like, oh yeah, I just wanted to do this. So Killua sneaks into the room where the other 2 members are, of the rookie hunters. And he's like, yo, we tried to play fair. You guys didn't. So the promise of us giving you that win, it's out of the table now.
Yeah.
And as he sneaked in, he kind of caught them talking about already cheating through the fights. And he's like, no.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then they go back to the fight. And then Now we go back to Gon having his rematch with a guy pegging himself.
Yeah, with the top guy. And what's only significant about this fight, I don't want to spend too much time on it, is that now Gon, with his like Nen sensory senses, is able to determine where the tops are going to be at any given point. But the way he wins the fight is he uses his fishing rod to flip over this like 100-ton tile, which is like 30 feet by 30 feet.
A slab of marble.
Yeah, the slab of marble, and just like flips the top guy overward as he's spinning, and Gon like breaks his peg.
Yes.
Because the scene there it's scary because you think Gon might actually kill the guy. But like that transition, that cutting, it's actually Gon just breaking his peg so that he has to drop out of the whole like floor, out of the whole Heaven's Arena.
Yeah, because like you said earlier, like Gon is so pissed off that they picked on Sushi.
Yeah.
Like we know Killua, it's defending Gon and Gon alone.
Yeah.
You know, but Gon now is super pissed that they were trying to pick on Sushi. So yeah, you're right. That scene and when he breaks the peg, you think he's gonna punch through his chest. But anyways, that's how the fight ends. This guy is pegless, or at least has a part of his peg is still in him.
And then Killua also wins his fight.
Yes, with the fucking monster truck guy.
Yeah, he has a wheelchair with fucking like these giant monster truck fucking rims on it.
And I was just gonna say, like, basically, like, the whole tactic was for him to get electrocuted by these like snakes he has.
These whips.
Yeah, like that turn into, I don't know what they are, but basically Killua was like, this is nothing. I've been tortured before, and I literally grew up being tortured.
Poor guy.
So after that, he just won.
That's a regular Sunday morning, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so we get that resolution. We've defeated the three like rookie hunters are gone basically, but Hisoka approaches Gon after his fight and he's like, hey, you won your fight, and I see that you now have an understanding of Nen, like we can do that fight now. Which is like, that's the climax of season 2 of Hunter x Hunter. It's the fight with Hisoka.
Yeah.
And so now we have an understanding of Hisoka's ability. He's a transmuter type, and he manipulates his Nen to be sticky gum. But Gon still doesn't have like a unique Nen ability yet.
Correct.
Which is what hinders him here, because now it's still just like Gon punch hard, like.
And this is where and this is where we get to like the most like pervy, predatory fucking side of like Hisoka's motivation.
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about earlier, there's a still in the anime of what it looks like a panel from the manga.
Yeah.
Of when Gon and Hisoka are standing, in the ring, Hisoka is looking at the determination of Gon, and it's just like this piece of dialogue of like, Gon,
it's like, don't look at me like that.
Because the scene you're describing isn't even in motion. It's just like he's like thrusting his crotch outward.
A JoJo pose?
Yeah, like a JoJo pose, but without the cool like Bon Jovi-ness of it. It's just like
He's
this
literally like moaning through just like the process of him looking at him, like Gon looking at him.
And to signify that seeing Gon's intent and his will is giving Hisoka a literal erection. Like a literal, because what we were talking about Hisoka like harboring these kids and like making them a worthwhile fight. One of his experiments has actually like harbored fruit, and now Hisoka is like fucking nutting his pants in the middle of the ring about it. Like it's fucking gross. Like,
and Gon starts going at it. He's going, doing all sorts of combo breakers. Well, not even. He's trying to
he
connect.
can't touch him even. Yeah.
He's trying to make contact with Hisoka. Hisoka's just like, bloop, 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 like just fanning all the fucking punches away. And we have that piece of dialogue where Hisoka's like, really? He's like, that's all you guys? Like, I haven't even moved from like my starting position.
And Gon didn't even notice.
Yeah, and Gon's like, oh shit.
He's like, that's
He's
right. He's all sweaty. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and then so he ends up like, Gon starts just kind of trying to plan something to get at least a good punch, and then Hisoka's like, what are you doing? Like, come on. He's like, hold on, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, like Gon being such like the Luffy kind of character. He's like, hold on, everything's going on. I
can't multitask. Like, I can't punch and think at the same time. Just give me a second.
And so Gon just does his special move throughout the season, which is, fuck it, let's flip another tile. It worked once. It worked once. I'm gonna fucking make him use all their tiles. So he flips a tile, punches it towards Hisoka, and destroys
as a distraction.
Yeah, it's like that same like misdirection that Hisoka used in his original fight.
So then Gon ends up approaching through the back and just ends up punching.
Ends up connecting Hisoka in the face.
Yeah, because... So not only did he do the misdirection, but he hit his aura well enough so that he could like come up behind Hisoka, and he just clocked him clean, just like
and
right on the jaw.
He keeps punching him after that, but then Hisoka's like still super turned on.
Yeah,
with it. Like he lets him get it.
Like as he's getting punched, like Hisoka's just like rubbing his nipples, like.
But at that same point, they stopped fighting because they realized that was the stipulation to get the number back, right?
Correct.
Oh, that's right.
So they stop on the opposite sides of the ring, and they like just walk up to each other, and Gon
Audience
hands
super
Hisoka's.
confused.
Yeah, the audience is like, "What the fuck is going on?" And Gon just hands Hisoka his number from the Hunter exam. So now, like, the real fight has to happen because Gon's done like his original goal here, and now it's just fucking beat Hisoka.
Yeah, and it doesn't even... It gets one-sided. The fight turns one-sided because Hisoka now...
Because now Hisoka goes all out and actually starts
trying.
using his bubblegum. Yeah.
And when there's a piece of dialogue where Hisoka, again, using misdirection, he's like... He points at Gon and he's like, "You're an enhancer," because enhancers are gullible or like.
It's like how you can judge personality types, but like it's like that pseudoscience kind of psychology where like you can.
It's like the zodiac almost.
Yeah,
like, you must be a Pisces.
Yeah, because you're fishy or something.
and he does that. But while he was pointing at this dude. We find out later on the fight, after the exchange of the number, that he put a sticky fucking gum in his face.
Yeah.
And now he's just whipping him around.
Yeah.
And Gon doesn't really realize until he's like, oh, wait, I have to use, what's it called?
Gil.
Yeah. And then he finally actually sees it and he's like, oh, damn it. Like, now what?
Oh, God damn it, I'm stuck with the bubblegum already. and that's what, like, even, I think Zushi says at a certain point, like, you just can't, even though Gon and Killua are like the prodigies here, you just can't beat like the experience that somebody like Hisoka has. Like Hisoka's like killed like thousands of people,
using his same techniques,
using the same techniques, and like we were describing, Hisoka for sure has like passive Gyo just going on at all times, and it's like unless you have that kind of training where you just have it on all the time, you just can't fight a Nen user because there's certain like. In the next season, in season 3, when we really get into the Phantom Troops powers, which end up being like the coolest fucking Nen powers, once we get to like certain conjuration powers, it's like imagine if you were trying to fight that and you couldn't fucking see it.
Yeah,
like that's impossible. It's literally impossible. Like,
yeah, but at this point, it starts getting a little annoying because the referee just kind of starts giving Hisoka like a whole bunch of points for like any little thing, and
the crowd is mad.
We haven't even described that Heaven's Arena uses a point system.
Oh yeah,
we literally haven't. We've been describing them as flat out bloodbaths, but there's a point system. So like if you knock somebody down, it's a point. If you get a clean hit, it's a point. If you knock somebody out, it's like 3 points automatically just done. And then it's like first person to 4 points wins?
No, the first person to 10 points wins.
Right.
But if the opponent is knocked down by a clean hit, then that's 3 points. But if they can't continue to fight, that's a TKO. So, it's...
So like, what the reason why I'm bringing that up now is that Heaven's Arena is totally not the kind of format that Gon and Hisoka actually need. Because to Vianey's point, like every time they're getting a clean hit on each other, it's like a point. Every time it's like a sort of brush off, it's like it's a point. So like the judge is trying to like end the fight quickly
because Gon is getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah, in like a real fight, what they really want is like a fight to the death almost. But like that's not the point of Heaven's Arena,
right? And then like towards the end of that episode, like the referee is being interviewed, and he's like. It's just one of those things where I had to end that fight.
Yeah, he's like, if I had to lower my standards as far as the point system, it's like I had to because, I mean, Gon 12-year-old kid is getting his ass kicked by this fucking pervy clown.
Yeah.
And that's how the fight ends. Gon ends up losing.
Yeah.
And they just kind of quit the Havens Arena.
Yeah, Gon's just kind of like, I haven't been home in a while. Like, I'm down.
over there.
I'm down to go introduce my mom to my new boyfriend Killua. Like,
There's this one part though when they're saying bye to Master Wing and Zushi, and then like. As they're walking away, Master Wing is like, like those kids are so talented or whatever. And then, Zushi is like all like just sad. He's like, oh man, like this sucks. And then look, what did you say yesterday?
It's because it's a piece of dialogue where Master Wing is like, man, as they're walking away, they're like, man, those kids are really talented. You, Sushi, you're just average.
You're just an average Joe type of
but it's like not even an insult though,
No,
because
it's not.
true. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
Sushi does get his feelings hurt because he's like,
Because at first he's like, oh, you're 1 in 1,000 or whatever. He's
Yeah.
like, really? And then he's like, yeah, but those kids, they're
are-
1 in 1,000,000.
yeah, exactly, dude. Just
And
like-
he's like, oh.
growing up as a gifted and talented student, I understand what that feels like, because it's like I was told my whole life I'm like above average, but then like by the time I got to university, it was like, holy fuck, like there's so many more talented people out there, but like, they're way beyond like
And,
my.
I mean, being more talented than your brothers and your sisters. I mean, you know, I bet it was an easy go for you. You know, just getting all the love.
Well, I am a lot smarter and better looking than my sister. Don't get me wrong. But
She's doing good.
yeah, she's fine. She just graduated college. It's okay. She got held back in kindergarten, but she's doing great now. Anyways, what the fuck are we talking about? Okay, so they go introduce. Gon goes back to his home village and introduces Killua to his aunt, who's also his mother figure, the woman that raised him, right? But
then basically, like, she ends up just pretty much showing a box that Gon's dad had saved for him once he got his hunter's license. So they end up opening up this box and they find like a game or something like that.
They find like
a recording.
a recording of his dad. So Aunt Mito was instructed to give this box once they got their hunting exam completed. Because we haven't even talked about it. The hunting exam had 2 parts, which was
crap! I forgot about
which
that.
was getting your license and
learning Nen.
learning Nen.
So, like, Wing tells Gon, like, congratulations, Gon, you've passed the second part of the exam. Now that you know what Nen is.
Second part of the
What's the second part of the exam? And then Wing tells him, just like, yeah, Killua's learning Nen from some teacher in the forest.
Kurapika
Kurapika, fine.
and Leoria.
What'd you say?
Killua and Kurapika.
I keep getting Killua and Kurapika, the K's, like, they're confusing me. Honestly, I'm like that when I read books, too. Like, I can't stand reading characters with the same initial letter because I get them confused.
You're like, what?
Yeah, so like Game of Thrones is like really hard for me because there's so many. Anyways, besides the point. So like they pass the second part of the exam. They understand Nen. They get this magical box. If they infuse Nen in it, the box explodes. It has 3 like gadgets in it. Mm-hmm. It has the game
ring?
cartridge, a ring, and a cassette tape.
And the recording, yeah. So, and the recording is just again great parenting because the recording is just Gon's dad being like, "Fuck you, kid! I don't want to see you."
I don't know if you're ever gonna hear this ever because I know nothing about you and I'm abandoning you at like 3 months old.
But if you don't come beat me, I'm not gonna let you. So come find me. And that's the end of the day. And we're. I mean, by the time we leave Master Wing and Sushi, I mean the entire meat of the story of second season, it's done.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah. This is just setting up like season 4, if anything.
Yeah, these last 2 episodes is setting up season 4, correct?
Because it's not even setting up season 3. This is like season 4 because like the game cartridge isn't even important until season 4.
Correct. And we just have these 2 episodes of just Killua and Gon having dates and
I want to go back to the cassette thing though,
go
real quick,
ahead.
because the night before. Gon's showing Killua his favorite fishing spot, and of course Gon's aunt knows where that is because she raised the fucking kid, you know what I mean? So she's gonna go take them food because it's the middle of the night, it's late, they skipped dinner because they were just sitting around fishing and talking, and Killua is finally trying to like pick apart Gon's brain and being like, yo, where's your mom, where's your dad, how's your aunt like involved in the story? And Gon's like, well, my dad's a badass hunter and he abandoned me. But I don't want to know who my mom is. Because, like, honestly, my aunt's been such, like, a badass caretaker. She's my only maternal figure as far as I know. And when it goes back to the cassette tape, the dad's talking shit and he's giving, like, some clues, some hints. But at a certain point in the recording, he's like, keep listening onward if you want to know more about who your mother is. And Gon, like, right away just turns it off.
He destroys the cassette, didn't he?
He couldn't destroy it. He turned it off because so we know the dad's like a badass Nen user because not only did he infuse the tape with Nen, but there was so much Nen in the cassette tape that the like cassette the boombox, like the actual like thing playing it, like started erasing the recording that was on it. And then, like, Gon and Killua tried smashing it because they wanted to save the recording, but, like, the Nen was so strong that, like, they couldn't even break it.
That's true.
Correct. And that's pretty much season 2. We
Hold on. We need to go over the game cartridge real quick.
Oh,
because that sets up season 3.
My bad.
Okay, I get what you're doing. Hold on, but this is super important. So, like, season 3 is called the Phantom Troop. It's about the Phantom Troop. And it's about, like, the boys going to an auction in York New City to get a super rare game, like a video game, because the dad left a game cartridge with, like, a bunch of saves from this, like, game that was never officially released. And it's worth, like, 1 billion fucking Jenny or whatever because it's super fucking rare and collectors want it. It's like a fucking PSA 10 Charizard or some shit, right? So their only hint on what to do next is just to, like, go to York New City, meet up with Kurapika and Leorio and yeah, I almost said Killua again, and go to the auction and try to get the video game, and that sets up season 3.
Correct. And as we know from season 1, at the auction, we also have the Scarlet Eyeballs of
that's right.
of Kurapika's race.
Right.
And I think that's why Isoka has some interest in him too.
Yeah.
Because he's also a very powerful being.
Honestly, let us know on, like, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Between Nerds, or email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com if you want us to talk about season 3 of Hunter x Hunter, because honestly season 3 is fucking wild. Like, once we get into Kurapika's Nen powers, and once we get into actual, like, Killua's powers and the Phantom Troop and all of their Nen powers and
Leorio's medical exam, dude, is crazy.
Fuck Leorio. But yeah, like, if you really, like, we're trying our best, like, right now to describe, like, how wide reaching and well written the Nen power system is. You don't fully understand that until you're, like, really in the thick of, like, learning the Phantom Troop's powers in season 3. Mm-hmm. Because then it's like, dude, they can really, really do anything. Mm-hmm. And it fits perfectly with how this power system was written.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. And nerds, that has been episode 47?
47 of Between Nerds Podcast. This upcoming week, we are going to be watching season 2 of ReZero. The episode that we are going to be recording June 19th, we will have John Michael Venegas back. And look forward to that.
I just want to say, I know you guys started this podcast back in June, and it's now June again. So, yay! Happy 1 year!
Hey. The original upload date for the pilot was June 15th. So, thank you, V. You're right. By the time you all hear this, we'll be like, what, a day away from the year anniversary of Between Nerds Podcast.
Thank you guys so much for listening, for using the hashtag, for following us, for just listening to us just fucking mouth area of anime.
I didn't even mention it because, like, but this past week we passed 4,000 total downloads finally, and we were averaging like 530, 540 downloads every 30-day period. So we're doing great, and it's all thanks to you all.
Yes, nerds, thank you very much. And again, please use the hashtag
LGBT
nerds for the month of June, which then will be donating to the Rainbow Center here in El Paso.
The Borderland Rainbow Center. And again, just use hashtag LGBT nerds on an original tweet or Instagram post, and you will be automatically entered into our June giveaway. We're going to get you a badass anime figure. We're going to send it to you completely for free. And you know what I mean? Just take a cool picture and give us a shout out. That's all we ask. This has been Between
Nerds.